Hi, welcome to My Thoughts Exactly. I'm Paul Burrell, and these are my thoughts exactly. Two of the most important words for me when I'm trying to make a decision are intent and value. Intent and value. So, intent, what was the intent of the person who has set this in front of me? Whether it's whatever the question is, what's their intent? And what's the value in it? What do I get, or what do I give, or what do you get, right? So, recently I submitted a story, which was a commission, and really worked really diligently on it, much longer than most of my short stories. And the editor took it to task, just beat the shit out of it. But here's the thing: her intent was not to hurt my feelings. Her intent was not to show her editorial superiority. Her intent was to make the story better. Okay. Now the value is obvious. I will have a better story when this is done, right? When the process is done. Now, what I did was I recused the story from consideration, not out of anger, not out of resignation, out of this story needs a lot of work and a little time. So you have to remember, I always have 4 or 5 writing projects going at one time because that's how I do it. That's how I roll. So I can't stop other projects to give this project the respect it needs at this moment, but I absolutely will. So her intent, this young lady, her intent was to make the story better, to make the dots connect. And that is a gift. The value is when I allow her critique to wash over me as I have, the story will be better. My future stories will be better, right? Because I learned from this one. So it's all about intent and value. So when someone does something to you or says something to you, it's often a good time to figure out intent and value. Intent and value. So, what was their intent? A lot of people, and even me 20 years ago, would have felt that her intent was to break my back when the truth is it wasn't. And then the value. I value having a good story. I value having my name attached to a story that people like, right? So I don't need to improve, and I don't need to impress anybody, right? I write, and I write, and there are people who are going to love what I write, and there are people who are going to hate what I like, and there are people who just don't give a shit, and that's all good. But the value for me as a writer, as a teacher, as a student of the craft is immeasurable. So think about that when someone says or does something. What is their intent? That's your first question always. What is their intent? Was it a malicious intent? Was it an accidental malicious intent? If that's possible, I don't know if that's impossible. So that's your beginning. That's where it begins with intent, and then the value. Is there value in arguing about this? Is there value in debating the merits of this? And this could be anything. This could be when you put out lunch, and your friend says this chicken soup tastes like shit. Well, is he trying to help you by altering your recipe, or is he trying to hurt you? The value. Well, I don't really care what he thinks, and it's only chicken soup, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, whatever it is you're doing, wherever you're into something, look at the intent. A lot of times, intent is not as obvious as we'd like it to be, or sometimes it's misinterpreted. Okay? If you're not sure, ask. Anytime you're not sure, ask. And if the person can't do it being asked, hit the road, Jack. Don't come back no more, no more, no more. Then decide for yourself the value. Decide for yourself the value. And that doesn't mean what's in it for me. That means what's the best outcome of this. There is an element of what's in it for me, of course, because that's everything, every day. We want to be aware of what's in it for us, and I totally get that. And that's often a great way to figure out how you're going to make a decision. My point is check the intent, check the value. Keep yourself in the priority. Keep your feelings, keep your intent and your value in the priority. If there's no value for you, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, if there's no value for you, I dated a girl for a little while who I couldn't stand, but she had three really cool dogs, and I love these dogs, and these dogs loved me. Uh, she was not a fun person to date, but God, those dogs are amazing. So the value for me was to have some time, walking the dogs and playing with the dogs. Uh, and then when that became arduous, then I politely bid my adieu. So, intent, value. Don't ever get anything less. Make sure that you are valued because you are valuable. You are one of God's children, or whatever your higher power is. So make sure you get what you deserve. And I mean that in the most positive way. Christmas is coming just a couple weeks away, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, or winter solstice. And these are times that people are going to be more open to show you how much they value you. Keep an eye. Keep an eye on those who weren't around for the last 11 months, but suddenly start popping up around St. Nick's Day. You know what I'm saying? Intent and value. Be clear. You're beautiful.